Hi, everyone. I'm just going to give a moment as folks are joining from the waiting room, and we will get started in just a second. Okay, I think most everyone has joined, so welcome everyone. My name is Sarah Bassett, and I am the Director of Partner Success here at MOQ1. I'm excited to talk to you all this afternoon about leveraging MOQ1 for bulk ordering. Whether you're an existing user or considering MOQ1 for the first time, you are going to walk away from this webinar with new strategies to grow your business. I'm going to share my screen here and we will get going. So today we will talk through the state of bulk ordering and how MOQ1 makes the process fast, easy, and profitable. I'll also take you through a live demo where we'll create a store and build a bulk order in minutes so you can see it all in action. We'll finish with real-world use cases and tips for growing your sales, followed by a Q&A session where I'll answer any questions you may have. We have a lot of familiar names in the crowd today, so I have a feeling we're going to have a great discussion ahead of us. Feel free to add your questions via the Q&A feature as they come up, and I'll make sure they're addressed by the end of the webinar. I also want to note quickly before we jump in, you can expect a follow-up email later today that will include a recording of this webinar, so you can reference it later or share it with other members of your organization. Okay, let's jump in and get started. As most of you already know, bulk and wholesale orders are the backbone of the promotional product industry. They bring in substantial revenue for your businesses, and they should be the foundation of your growth. Bulk orders look great on paper. One order equals lots of revenue, right? Sounds like a win. But when you dig deeper, there's a lot more work involved than meets the eye, which most of you know from experience. The reality is that while bulk orders are a great way to bring in revenue, they can also create a logistical nightmare. There's a lot happening behind the scenes, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. You need to work with your client to figure out which products to offer and how their designs may affect the product pricing. Creating mock-ups is not always feasible, but when it is, a lot of time and effort goes into providing a visual representation of what your client plans to order. Meeting those often high minimum quantities can be a roadblock for clients looking for smaller runs or unorthodox product mixes. You need to track everything from stock levels to shipping schedules throughout the entire ordering and fulfillment process. And order issues happen often with the traditional process. Whether we're talking order delays, inventory issues, or missing items, a lot goes into keeping your clients happy. Not to mention, you're responsible for ensuring everything from invoices to artwork and shipping information is accurate, up to date, and in the right hands at the right times. At the same time, the needs and expectations of your clients are starting to evolve. Younger generations in particular have become accustomed to fast, easy to use digital solutions. We live in an Amazon world now, right? They value simplicity and convenience, and sometimes even prefer the ability to place orders independently without any back and forth communication. The competitive landscape is also shifting. We're seeing many clients turn to .com platforms where they can place orders directly, even at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. This shift in expectations is starting to redefine the way business is done in the promotional product industry. As the market changes, it's important to consider how you can adapt to meet or exceed those evolving expectations. The industry hasn't seen a lot of substantial advancement in recent years, and many of the same challenges continue. We've heard from tons of dealers, decorators, and distributors who feel constrained by the limitations of the traditional process. Meeting minimum order requirements, often per product type, means your clients need to order a lot of product to make it economical. To meet those minimums, you may have to use the same design, which limits your options. Ordering a sample is usually expensive, and depending on your process, is sometimes actually just impossible. Customers often can't even see a mock-up before placing their orders, which adds a lot of uncertainty to the process. Long, inflexible lead times prevent you from offering the speed clients are used to in other areas of their businesses. The process to provide an accurate quote is complicated and time-consuming, and most importantly, it feels like it takes forever to get paid. This effectively puts a cap on your growth. You're spending most of your time on administrative tasks like chasing orders, managing client expectations, and handling paperwork. The opportunity cost is significant. You're devoting so much time to managing existing orders that there's not much room to generate new ones. You're saying no to smaller orders or canceling items clients do want because they can't meet those minimums. And you can't accept rush bulk orders, even when they'd be a great opportunity. In the end, these hurdles prevent you from providing the highest level of service to your clients. But let's think about how many times you couldn't make something happen for a client because it was just outside of what the industry is currently set up to handle. This is exactly the reason we developed MOQ1. MOQ1 was built to address the core pain points in the promotional product industry. Now you have a seamless, efficient platform that helps you serve your clients better, faster, and with less hassle, even for bulk orders. Now, for those of you that are new to MOQ1, here's a super quick overview of the platform. Stores are set up in minutes and ready for orders anytime, 24/7, 365. There are no upfront costs and no fees. You can place small or large orders with ease. All orders are fulfilled with fast turnaround times, regardless of the number of units in the order, and you don't need to manage customer support. Our internal team has that covered. So in short, MOQ1 makes it easier than ever to offer fast, flexible, and profitable solutions to your clients, all while cutting down on the administrative work that slows you down. But we came here to talk about bulk orders, so let's get into what makes MOQ1's bulk ordering different. At its core, MOQ1 provides you fast and flexible bulk ordering with extremely competitive prices. You get bulk pricing based on total order quantity, not only when you use the same design or product. You only need 10 units to qualify for bulk pricing discounts, and pricing is dynamic. It updates automatically as more products are added to the cart. This means there's no need to account for design complexity, extended sizes, or product-specific quantity discounts. Real-time mockups let your clients see exactly what they'll get before they commit, and there are no minimums to worry about. That means samples can be ordered on the spot with no hassle. And again, with turnaround times averaging 1 to 2 days, your client will have a sample in hand in just a few days, right? So they can order with confidence. Last but not least, every product price includes a built-in 30% profit margin for your company, and that extends to our bulk pricing as well. So what does this mean for your business? It means you can offer your clients what they really want: fast fulfillment regardless of order size, the ability to place orders with a custom product mix that used to be impossible, and an easy-to-use interface that makes it simple for clients to place orders directly and without any back and forth. Let's actually change gears here, and we will walk through the whole process live. We'll be able to go from catalog creation to order placement in just a few minutes. So I'm going to change my screen here, and we will jump into the MOQ1 platform. Now, this is a demo account that I have created under my fictitious promotional product company, Shops by Sarah. So we are going to do just a really basic overview for those of you that are new. This is our administrative dashboard, and it's where you'll go to see a preview of the success of all of your shops. But to create a new one, I'm just going to click My Shops here in the left navigation menu. Here I'm seeing all the shops I've previously created, but let's create our catalog for our bulk customer here. This is going to be my shop, St. George Deli. Now I'm going to select my shop colors here. And when I'm making these selections, I'm thinking about the logo I plan to upload. So I can select colors that are going to complement that logo. Now the next step is to upload my design. Now, I always give this caveat on our general platform overviews, but I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the presentation. There are no limitations to the design complexity that you can upload, right? So you can include designs with 4 colors, 6 colors, color gradients, and things that would generally increase the cost for you through a traditional process. That's not a factor here with MOQ1. Now that I've uploaded my design, the last step is to launch my shop. Now, what this does is activates my shop URL and opens this shop for business. Now, as you can see here, I've launched my storefront, and you can see this logo is dynamically applied to hundreds of products that match my shop color selections. So here it is placed on a variety of products. We have apparel, including t-shirts, outerwear, bottoms, products like drinkware and tumblers. We also offer products like blankets, towels, notebooks, and more. So this makes it incredibly easy to not only show your clients these dynamic mockups that will generate real-time mockup images based on their selections, but they're also including their artwork, kind of making them more enthusiastic about the purchase process while you're showing them these catalogs. It hits a little harder to see my company's logo as compared to just a blank product in a catalog. Let's go ahead and build a bulk order so we can see this in action. Let's click on the G500 t-shirt here. So now, just as a quick review, as I mentioned previously, every product price includes a 30% margin for you. So on a unit of 1, the G500 purchase price is $17.95. That means you're taking home $5.38 on every G500 sold. However, if we scroll down just a little bit here, we can see a preview of the bulk savings that we can achieve based on the number of units in our cart. As I mentioned previously, again, this does not have to be 144 G500s. This can be an entire mix of products and designs. We've only uploaded one design to the shop here today, so I'll only be demonstrating this with a single design, but I want to make it very clear you can use 144 different designs to achieve this maximum discount. Okay, so let's start off by adding 10 G500s to our cart. Oops. Okay, so as you can see here, we're qualifying for a product discount right away because we've hit that first threshold for discounts of 10 units. I'm going to go back to my storefront and scroll down and add some tumblers as well. So let's choose this 30-ounce tumbler here. And I'm going to buy one for all of my managers within this company here. So I have 38 managers on staff. I'm going to add 38 of these tumblers to my cart. This hits another bulk pricing tier. So we're seeing an additional discount here of 48 units. As you can see, the savings are just piling up in the cart. The prices are updating dynamically as I'm adding these products as well. Okay, now I'm going to head to bags. Let's add some cinch packs for everybody here. So I'm going to do 27 of these cinch packs. We'll add those to cart. Again, we're continuing to see those discounts adding up here. Now we'll go to polos. We'll add some additional polos here. I am going to select size medium, and we'll add 19 more polos. And again, these prices are just continuing to change in the cart. This cinch pack is down to $6.97 here. And now the last thing we're going to add, let's go to home and office, and we'll add some notebooks here. So again, we're adding a super diverse product mix to the cart. We have 94 items here. Now with this, we are hitting our lowest discount tier or highest discount tier, lowest prices. So all the G500s are $7.34. Again, this is with a 30% margin built in for you. So you're taking home 30% of the purchase price on every single product here in the cart. As we scroll down here, we see this was originally a $4,000 order at MSRP for each individual product, but as we've added additional items to the cart, this reduces the total purchase price by more than 50%. So this is a great way, as I mentioned previously, to add a really unorthodox mix of products and allow your customers to satisfy those discounts. We've heard many stories from dealers who have to approach their customers after they have placed their orders, giving them the unfortunate news that because they didn't satisfy a case quantity of mugs, for instance, they either have to add 10 mugs to their order or eliminate them altogether because they can't meet that minimum. That's no longer an issue with MOQ1's Mix and Max Wholesale. Let's continue on through the checkout process just really quickly so you can preview what this will look like for you if you're placing the order on behalf of your customer or for your customer if they're ordering directly. So we do offer gift codes, so you can provide those to your clients if you would like to incentivize them to place these orders. We accept express checkout via PayPal. And again, I just want to note here, all items ship together. You don't need to track multiple shipments from multiple printers based on including multiple product types. Everything is decorated here in our facility in Detroit and will ship together direct to the shipping address. Let's go ahead and continue on through the process here. We do connect our system directly to USPS's address verification, so we can be sure that all orders will actually arrive to their destination. As you can see here, we also offer 4 shipping methods. These are dynamic and weight-based rates as well. So as you can see here, economy and ground are actually costing the same because we are going to default to ground shipping for an order of this size. However, if your customer has a really tight timeline, they can select second day or overnight shipping. We actually had a customer contact us on a Thursday afternoon a couple of weeks ago, and they were looking for Monday delivery of an order. I think it was 100 tumblers that they were looking for. And we were able to accommodate that with overnight shipping because of our lightning fast production speeds and the fact that they are able to utilize overnight shipping in combination with that. So this is an incredibly valuable tool for you to be able to accommodate your customers, and hopefully seeing the demonstration of how all of these items add up to provide those discounts gets your gears turning on the types of clients this will work for. I'm going to switch back to our presentation here, and we can carry on with a little bit more of the meat of the presentation. Now, that whole process took just a few minutes, right? And I was talking a lot during it. That's how easy MOQ1 makes it to manage bulk orders and offer the flexibility your clients are looking for. But what happens after you place your order here? Every MOQ1 shop is directly integrated with Bespoke Labs' 225,000 square foot state-of-the-art production facility here in Detroit, ensuring immediate order processing. Live stock status is integrated directly into all MOQ1 shops to ensure we can begin production right away. While I can talk all day about how advanced our production facility is, there's truly nothing like seeing it in action to grasp the scale and capabilities of our operation. You can get a sense of just how large and efficient our facility is through this footage, but I'm still shocked every time I go downstairs and see it in person. We've been in the world of product customization for nearly 30 years, and through it all, we've maintained a strong focus on automation. This commitment allows us to provide an unmatched experience, delivering orders of any size with the speed and quality your clients expect. So what does this all mean for your business? Here are some ways MOQ1 can work for you. Low run bulk orders. Let's say you have a smaller client who needs branded products, but doesn't want to commit to a large order. Now you can offer smaller quantities and still meet their needs, opening the door to more opportunities and allowing you to say yes to more clients. Add-on orders. Let's say a client places a big order, but realizes they need just a few more items like t-shirts or hats for an event. You can easily order those last minute items and keep the process smooth and efficient so your client gets exactly what they need. Express bulk fulfillment. Now, while we all wish our clients were always organized and prepared, that's just not the reality. But that's where the opportunity lies. You can step in and make bulk orders happen on short notice. Whether it's for a last minute event or a quick turnaround, you can fulfill those rush orders in a way that you couldn't before. Standard bulk ordering. Now, MOQ1 was built to handle those complex bulk orders, but that's not the only way it can be used. Because of our dynamic and automatic bulk pricing, placing standard bulk orders through MOQ1 significantly streamlines your ordering process and saves you time on quotes. This means faster order processing and more efficient workflows. And follow-up orders. After a large order or event, clients may want to reorder products. As we saw, as part of this bulk ordering process, you're actually generating an online shop for your client. This shop gives your clients the freedom to place follow-up orders whenever they need, ensuring that your revenue continues to flow even after that initial sale. Now, here are a few tips to help you position MOQ1's bulk ordering capabilities to your client. Now, firstly, we highly recommend promoting express wholesale to your clients. Let them know you offer wholesale express and can turn around orders of any size in just a few days. Don't wait for them to ask. You'll want to make sure they know it's an option, so when they need it, they come to you rather than one of those .com solutions. The industry has been the same for a long time, so it's up to you to let them know you can provide a faster, more flexible solution. This also positions you as a proactive partner who's ready to solve their toughest challenges. Now, those digital mock-ups that we saw within the storefront that we generated, you can use those to drive sales. Showing your clients digital mock-ups customized with their logos not only increases the chances they'll place an order, but it also encourages them to make the purchase sooner. Now, I just want to tell one story just from personal experience and having these conversations with dealers and distributors and decorators that we work with, showing these clients fully populated shops that are using their logos is very flattering. It makes them feel incredibly special to see the work that you've put into providing them a customized experience. They don't have to know it only took 60 seconds. They feel like you are putting them above the rest of your customers and providing them an exceptional experience. This process also allows you to engage with more prospects. Now that you can offer products in smaller quantities, you can have more conversations with prospects and target clients who might not have had access to branded merchandise before. Now, there are a lot of businesses out there that want branded merchandise and either have ordered it previously in such large quantities that they now have gaps in their inventory in the most popular sizes, or they never even approached the world of promotional products because it didn't feel accessible to them. They didn't have the money to spend on a large order and they just wanted to outfit their employees, right? But now they can provide this experience to their end consumers and allow them to share in those grassroots marketing opportunities that are branded products. Now, you should also be proactively creating these shops. If you're not sure whether your client will want a shop, create it proactively. Let them see it and give them the chance to decide if it fits their needs. We've heard from a few people as they're just starting out before they begin to scale their use of MOQ1 that they're fitting this into specific types of client use cases. But the fact of the matter is, when their clients see these shops, they're willing to let go of a specific need that they thought they had in order to allow for the ease of use that these shops present them. Now, I know your wheels have been turning throughout the webinar, thinking of the types of clients you'll be able to use this with. So let's dive into the Q&A session here and see what gaps we can close so you can approach this with confidence every time. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we will pull up the Q&A. I also just want to note that you do not have to feel pressure to throw all of your questions into the chat now. Just as a reminder, I will be sending out a follow-up email here. So I am always a resource for you if you have additional questions, as well as our support team. But let's take a look at the Q&A and we'll see what kinds of questions you have. So firstly, is embroidery an option for the apparel or simply screen printing? So this is a great question. I love to elaborate on this. So here at Bespoke Labs, we discontinued the use of embroidery about 3.5 years ago. And the reasons for that were plentiful, right? So first of all, we wanted to provide better design fidelity than embroidery is able to offer. So as you've experienced, oftentimes clients need to modify their logos in order to fit the limitations of embroidery, but that's not something that we require with our proprietary print method, which is the second point that I want to make here. So we actually do not screen print our products. We utilize a proprietary print method called Digisoft, which offers better design fidelity and better print consistency on any fabric than most other decoration methods on the market. Not only that, it's incredibly efficient at scale, and we are able to print these units of one at an incredibly low cost to you. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for you to be able to present a truly accurate design printed on a garment for your product, even on those products that are traditionally unable to be printed, like peak polos or performance fabrics. That's where we excel. We're able to translate that design to any fabric type without any issue. One question here. Is the decoration method for every item still the same? So Ralph, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding your question correctly. Are you asking whether we've added additional print methods? So the answer to that is we have added additional print methods, but they are for hard goods. So we're utilizing not only sublimation, but also UV DTF printing on our tumblers and notebooks. The decoration method for apparel is Digisoft, and will most likely always be Digisoft unless we evolve it to the point that it can no longer be named that as we're optimizing the process, but that's very unlikely. Digisoft is going to be able to print on any garment type, and again, translate those colors perfectly regardless of the fabrication. Shipping method can be chosen for standard orders, not just bulk orders. Yes, that's correct. So within the checkout process, that's going to be the same regardless of the size of the cart. However, what you probably noticed is that the pricing changes, right? Because of those dynamic and weight-based rates. So if you have hundreds of products in your shopping cart, you are going to actually see a per item decrease in the shipping rate overall because of those dynamic and weight-based changes. Your customer can select any shipping method regardless of the size of the order. Again, we want to be able to meet any timeline for your customer and put you in a position of saying yes to even rush bulk orders. But yes, those methods are available for orders of any size. Can the store have a start date and end date in order to accumulate all orders from the employees of a company? So that's a great question. And that aligns very well with the first generation of online shops within the promotional product industry. MOQ1 shops are incredibly easy to put online and take offline. However, the accumulation of orders is not something that you would lean on MOQ1 for. We ship all orders immediately after they are placed. We begin producing them immediately after the order is submitted. And again, our average turnaround time is just 1 to 2 days. So most customers have their orders in hand within a week. However, we are shipping direct to the purchaser. So this would be shipping directly to the individual employees. Again, eliminating one of those frustrating parts of bulk orders, which is order distribution. You often have to have one point person who's required to distribute all the goods to everyone who has purchased them independently. So here, that's not really a necessity. These employees can go and make their own purchase on behalf of themselves. We've actually seen an interesting phenomenon with this. There are a lot of companies that will allow their employees to purchase 3 to 5 shirts for their business, right? And that's something the company will cover. They generally provide a gift card or have the customer make a selection from, a short form order form, right? However, with MOQ1, what we've seen a shift toward is those employees are being granted gift cards for a particular value. Then the customer, or the employee in this case, is actually adding much more to their cart in order to have some variety and options in their wardrobe day to day. and they're still able to align with the company's branding. So we're seeing folks who are adding those 3 t-shirts, but then also adding polos and outerwear and bags and other things that are branded. And again, all of this is leading to revenue for you. If you'd like, you can also share in that revenue with your clients. A lot of our users do this as rebates. So they can share, for instance, $1 off every item purchased with their clients, and that will happen automatically in the MOQ1 accounting. So it's really easy for you to provide that rebate to them, or that, rebate. Okay, great. We just have a few additional questions here. Please keep them coming. We've got plenty of time to discuss everything, even if it's a particular use case, and seeing whether you're able to accommodate a certain process. When creating shops and adding or removing products, is there a way to use product numbers as compared to by department? So Thomas, this is a great question. And I actually recently spoke to our developers about this particular request. So we are in the process of making some changes to accommodate it so that you can actually search by style number. Now, that being said, you can see style number within the product details on the back end and within the storefronts, but we're adding that search functionality so you can locate the products you're looking for as quickly as possible. Now, that being said, those department filters will allow you to filter down pretty quickly, 2 or 3 clicks, and you can find the Comfort Colors 1717 t-shirt without any digging. However, I totally understand the request, and we are working on accommodating it. Now we also have, and I'm sorry, this is a follow-up question to that one, for use with customers who really want to narrow down available products. Now, something else that I would recommend here, Thomas, if you have a client that only wants a smaller selection of products, we have a few different options here. And I believe that you have attended the Tuesday general overview webinar to be aware of this, but for those in the crowd that haven't, we give you the ability to manually build products in addition to these automated catalogs being created. So if you would like to start with a bare catalog, if you skip those color selections during the shop creation process, that will populate 0 products in your catalog, and you can go ahead and add them manually. Now, to your point, once we have that search function, it'll be really easy for you to add specific products, but with those filters in the meantime, you should be able to do that still, 3 times quicker than you would be able to with other platforms. What if a client needs a specific garment that is not offered by MOQ1? Matthew, that's a great question as well. So the MOQ1 platform was designed around this idea of instant fulfillment. So if a specific garment is not offered by MOQ1, we always want to hear those suggestions, because we would like to be able to fulfill any product that is widely considered a need in the industry, right? However, if your client has a niche product that they want to add to an MOQ1 shop, that's not something that we can accommodate. And the reason for that is, again, we're providing the customer service on behalf of these shops and these orders. So if we aren't the producer or the shipper of the product, we're not really able to manage the fulfillment of that and keep your customers' expectations in line throughout the process. Again, because our fulfillment is so rapid, that also creates some discrepancies with what the customer's expectations of fulfillment would be. So in order to avoid that confusion and provide a consistent experience for your customer, the catalog is limited to only those products that we stock and have available for fulfillment in-house. Okay, so we have another question actually that's along the same lines for a particular product. Again, I always recommend you reach out to us with those suggestions. We do polls from time to time to gauge the MOQ1 user base and see which products are going to be the most popular amongst your clientele that we're not currently carrying. But if we don't know you need it, then we can't add it. So please throw those suggestions our way. And if there is a need amongst the entire user base or a large segment of the user base, we will always add those things. Any order, bulk or otherwise, needs to go to one delivery location. Is that correct? Yes, Ralph, that is correct. So if you wanted an order to be routed to multiple locations, you could either have that shipped to yourself or place those orders separately. Placing them separately is a pretty easy process, so I would probably recommend that in those types of cases, unless you wanted to ship to a coach, for instance, for distribution to a team. That's always a possibility as well. However, I still recommend providing that link to the shop, even if you're placing an order on behalf of your client and shipping it just to a local distributor of that order, for instance, a coach, because that coach can also provide that link to parents to buy spirit wear, right? So there are use cases beyond just fulfillment of these bulk orders. And Ralph, I know that you are well aware of that just because of previous conversations that we've had. Are gift cards paid upfront or when they're redeemed? So Lori, gift cards are paid for upfront and they are commissionable as well. So when your customer places an order, that's actually used as a method of payment. So products that are ordered with that gift code, the commission on those products goes back to you. So you kind of receive reimbursement for the commission that is paid by the customer redeeming them. Can a site have both pay via credit card and use gift card for purchase? Yes, absolutely, Ralph. So the gift card is applied until the gift card is depleted. And at the point at which the balance reaches zero, the leftover balance would be paid by any other method that we accept. Now, on that note, also, gift cards are they never expire and the balance rolls over in perpetuity, right? So if you use $7.50 off of one gift code, the remaining balance can be used on any subsequent purchases. Can I use a purchase order? So this is a fantastic question, and this is a conversation that we're having internally. So purchase orders are generally accommodated through buying groups in the traditional world of bulk orders, right? So we're in conversation with a number of buying groups for their own MOQ1 application in order to accommodate those processes and continue associating those orders with your buying groups so that you don't need to front the funds for those things up front. However, that's not something that we believe we will be able to offer with the general MOQ1 application. However, if you're part of a buying group like Facilis or Halo or any of those are the types of organizations that we are in communication with now. If you have any particular questions about whether your organization is already communicating with us, feel free to respond to my email and I can confirm that for you. But if they are not, I always recommend just putting that recommendation up the chain within your organization. It's pretty easy for us to accommodate those types of situations on a case-by-case basis. So please reach out to us or reach out to your buying group and we can work together to accommodate that. How fast is the turnaround time for custom orders? Can I really expect to get items shipped within 1 to 2 days? Yes. So our average turnaround time when I checked on Tuesday was 1.4 days. Now that is across all of the orders in our facility. So a large number of orders are actually shipping faster than that. And that accommodates orders of every size and every product type. So we're talking about blankets, bulk orders of t-shirts and mugs, right? So this really runs the gamut. We've worked incredibly hard to incorporate that automation that you saw in our drone flyover video in every aspect of the process that can be automated so that we can really promise that orders will be shipped within 1 to 2 days. Now, of course, with every situation, those are averages. There can be outliers depending on very rare scenarios, but we're talking about hundreds of thousands of orders in a month, right? That we're able to get turned around within those expectations. How many wash cycles can we expect from your Digisoft printing? That is a fantastic question. So I will speak from experience as I have been here throughout the entire evolution of Digisoft prior to its release. I personally have Digisoft prints that I wear weekly that I have worn for upward of 3 years. So there we're talking more than 100 washes without any print degradation. I actually read the results of a third-party print test that one of our larger corporate accounts did independently. And that report showed that the garment started to show degradation before the print did. If you're ever experiencing any type of print degradation in fewer than dozens of washes, please reach out to our support team, because that might indicate that there was a print error with that particular garment, and we will make sure that you or your client or your customer are taken care of. What if a client wants to allow names to be added on the right chest? For example, a logo on the left and a name on the right. So our print locations are currently baked into every individual garment, and right chest is not always available. That's not something that we can generally accommodate, to have multiple locations on the front of a garment, but it's something that we can consider opening up to in the future. So the answer to that is no, that's not possible right now, but we're always looking for ways to continue the development of MOQ1 and our print processes in the direction that our clients need. So I will pass that one up the chain. How do we go about getting a sample of your Digisoft print on a polo for a client to review and approve? So that's a fantastic question. What I generally recommend in these types of scenarios is to proactively create your client a shop. Then go ahead and sit down with your client and order that sample with them in person. That gives you the opportunity to provide them the entire catalog of products that's available, which not only makes them feel flattered, but gets them really excited about the prospect of the custom merchandise. This also showcases the turnaround times that you're able to promise, right? So when they go through the purchase process within the platform, they can really see it in action. When they place an order on a Monday and receive it within 7 days, it's really exciting, especially in comparison to the traditional process that they're used to. So that's what I would recommend in that scenario. It's also really nice for your client to see their logo within that sample. I know oftentimes folks just want to show any sample when it's a new print method, but there's nothing quite like seeing their own logo in comparison to the way it's been fulfilled through other providers. This is also a recommendation that I make for folks that are asking about embroidery specifically. Now, there are always going to be a subset of your clients that prefer a more traditional print method. But when we take a look at the industry trends, we're seeing a pretty dramatic shift toward those digital print processes, even through nationally recognized brands. So what I always recommend is to provide your client a sample of the embroidered version of their logo and a sample of their digitally printed version of their logo, and let them decide what they think is better, especially when it comes to comparing the price, the turnaround time, and the entire experience of MOQ1 to what would be required to get the embroidery. 9 times out of 10, I have seen clients choose the Digisoft in that scenario. Would you be able to offer other shipping options like USPS or FedEx? So Matthew, we utilize USPS Ground Advantage for our economy method and UPS second day, ground, and overnight for our expedited methods. We don't really accommodate alternative shipping providers, as those are integrated directly with our production facility and allow us to create labels in a super automated fashion and reduce the amount of handling time that it takes to get your order out the door. So that's not something that we can accommodate right now, but we always utilize the lowest cost and most economical option for your customers. Are you finding that end users are utilizing the online store after placing a bulk order to fill in gaps, etc.? Absolutely. So we launched MOQ1 a little over a year ago here with a smaller audience. And we've actually seen some really creative solutions through our printers specifically as it relates to these follow-up orders. We had one printer really early on that got so excited about the prospect of these MOQ1 shops. They utilized a sticker printing machine to print the QR codes that we provide within the platform that lead directly to the shop. And they started sending those out with their bulk orders. So the customer or the client was receiving that bulk order along with that incremental revenue opportunity, right? So they had a link directly to the shop with the bulk order that was being fulfilled. And that's really exciting for the customer as well, right? So again, down to the flattery, they receive their bulk order that they ordered along with this special treat of the online shop. Again, it's no cost to you, and it just provides an exceptional experience for your clients. Can gift cards be applied to shipping and tax charges or only to product? That's a great question. Gift cards are actually applied as any other payment option. So they will apply to the product, shipping, taxes, etc. And all of that can be utilized with the gift cards. Just a note here that I want to make for those of you that are not super familiar with MOQ1, tax is collected and remitted on behalf of every sale through the MOQ1 platform. So income that you receive is reported as 1099 income. You do not need to manage taxes or anything like that within the MOQ1 platform. That is all managed on your behalf. In what increments can gift cards be purchased? So they can actually be purchased in any increment whatsoever. You could order a gift card for $7.43 and we would accommodate that for you. We have a form within the platform in the marketing tab of your shop where you will type in the number of cards and the denomination that you would like. If you want a $50 card or a $7.53 card, you just let us know. And once we take payment, we'll distribute those codes to you. Could a client bulk purchase gift cards and then distribute to others in varying amounts? Absolutely. They can purchase any number of gift cards in any denomination. I know I just spoke about that, but you wouldn't have known that when you typed in your question. So hopefully that answer is helpful there. Can we get a copy of that durability report? I will have to see if I still have access to it. This was several months ago. So I'm going to have to talk to some people internally to see if I can get my hands on it. It was just kind of something that landed on my desk one day, but I will see if I can send you a copy of that, Ralph. Is there any personalization available? So Ralph, that's not a possibility right now. However, we are developing in that direction. We are working on a design customization tool. This is not a short-term project, but we want for you to be able to do anything you want to from a design perspective within the platform. So we're working on creating that type of tool. And as soon as we're able to launch it, you will hear about it because we're going to be incredibly excited to add that to the platform. Can you put multiple brands or logos in one store, or do you recommend one shop per brand? So Lori, I think this depends a little bit on how you plan to utilize the shops. So if you are creating a shop for a particular client and they have 10 variations on their logo, absolutely upload all 10 to that shop. However, if you plan for this to be a forward-facing experience for a client, I would keep your clients partitioned into multiple shops. Again, you can create as many shops as you'd like, so there's no harm in keeping them separate, and it allows your clients to use those to distribute them to their user base, to their employees, and add incremental revenue for you. So every client that you provide these shops to, you can also provide them a sell sheet that is actually one that can double as marketing materials for them. So I encourage you, Lori, if you haven't already, to join our Tuesday webinar. So I go into the marketing tools that we have in the platform in a little bit more detail, but I will include a link in my follow-up email about the marketing materials. So you can see those in action as well. That's a great way for you to increase the amount of orders that you're taking from a particular client. So again, as many logos as you'd like per shop, but keeping them partitioned based on client is the best route, because then they can make that a consumer-facing shop for themselves. If a client wants to have different item pricing for internal employees and external customers, would that mean 2 different order sites? Ralph, I think that's the easiest way to go about it with the existing setup. We're also working on incorporating a promotion system that Theoretically, a client could distribute a discount code to their employees that would reduce the purchase price for them. However, if it's just a pricing difference, they want to remove a markup or something like that, I think a second shop would do well. That's also a great way to provide exclusive products to employees and different consumer-facing products. Can customers access previous orders to place repeat orders? So we don't actually have a login function for customers. However, within their emails, after they place orders, they will be able to see the product name and the mockups for the products that they've purchased. So they can very easily recreate those based on the order information that they receive after their order is placed. And yes, gift cards can be applied to tax, shipping, and products. How are tax exempt customers handled? For instance, schools, hospitals, or resale? Tim, this is a fantastic question. So if an organization is making a purchase on their own behalf, we don't have the ability to eliminate sales tax from the front end purchasing experience. However, they can absolutely contact us with their tax exemption paperwork, and we will refund that tax on that particular sale. If an employee of that business or a customer of that business is making a purchase, that person is not necessarily tax exempt unless they're making that purchase on behalf of the business. So I hope that answers your question. But again, on a case-by-case basis, we would just have that client contact us. You could facilitate that and reach out to our team, and we will refund the tax on that particular purchase. Will you add any sleeve printing for co-branding? So that's a great question. We do have plans to add sleeve printing in the future. However, accommodating sleeve prints requires us not only to make some additional print processes downstairs, we need to make sure that we can maintain those super fast automation and turnaround times, but we also will need to take additional mock-up photos of all the products we have in our catalog in order to properly represent those on your sites. So it's a slightly longer term project, but we do have plans down the line to add sleeve printing. Bulk gift card purchase, refining my question. Okay, Ralph, let's see. Can a client buy a bank of maybe $5,000 of gift cards, then at their discretion distribute that amount in varying increments to others? So that would require them to purchase in multiple particular increments, but yes, they absolutely can. They are the keeper of the card if they make the purchase, right? So they're holding all of those codes and they can distribute them as they see fit. Again, these never expire, so there's no harm in them purchasing them ahead of time. But yes, they can absolutely release them at whatever times and to whomever they find appropriate. And yeah, if we need to have a further conversation about that down the line, then yes, absolutely we can. Any possibility of a back print location at the top of the back? So we have very recently launched a back yoke print location. I think this was about a month ago, but we're very excited about that. It's not available on all products. So for hoodies, for example, it's not available because the hood would be covering the print in the mock-up image. So we can't really represent that to the consumer, but it's available on all crew necks and any product that doesn't have an embellishment or seam in the back yoke print area. Something that's special about the back yoke print location in the MOQ1 system is it is the one print location that does not scale along with the garment size. So if your customer, for instance, orders a left chest print, that would be slightly smaller on a size small, a little bit bigger on a medium, a little bigger on a large, in order to reflect the placement and sizing on the mock-up as closely as possible. The back yoke, we totally understand it's always going to be around 3 inches, regardless of garment, regardless of garment size, in order to provide that super consistent branding opportunity on the back yoke location. Okay, that is the end of the questions that we have in the queue. So I'm just going to start doing my little sign off here, but if any additional questions roll in, I will definitely address them before we jump off. I just want to thank you all so much again for joining today's webinar, and I hope you're as excited about MOQ1's bulk ordering features as we are. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, I will be sending out a follow-up email later today with a recording of this webinar, but I'll also include a link to our website. So those of you in the crowd who have not yet registered can request your accounts. As I mentioned previously, I'll also include some additional resources based on the direction our Q&A took us, but you can definitely expect a recording of the webinar. It looks like there were a few questions that came in here. Ralph, I'm going to follow up with you after this webinar so that we can talk through the back yoke location. You should see it on the majority of products, but again, there are a few that are excluded from that because of that particular garment's characteristics. We may not be able to fit the back yoke print in the proper location on that garment. So we can take a look separately and we'll troubleshoot it for you. If anyone has any additional questions or needs any additional help, we are always here. I am a resource for you. You can respond to the follow-up email that I send after this webinar or reach out directly to our support team. We have one last question. How do you find the back yoke? So if you turn the garment on the front end or the back end and look at the back print, you can select either a full back or back yoke. I'm going to go ahead. I can share my screen really quickly. We've got a moment. Okay, sorry about this. I was not expecting to share again. Okay, so here we are in the storefront that we created. When I click on the G500 t-shirt, I would turn to the back to add a second print location. When I add my design, that's when I will see the print location options. So here is the back yoke print location in action on the front end here. On the back end, you would generally see this if you are building a featured product, and you would see that option if you select to upload a back print. Then you would be able to select between either full back or back yoke. So Lori, I hope that helps. If you have any follow-up questions about that, we can talk about it after the webinar as well. Okay, I want to thank you all again for coming. Have a great afternoon. Thank you again for joining me, and happy selling. Have a good one. Bye.